Had it facing the wrong way. Gonna turn it again. That's if anybody comes on. Hello, who's there? Yeah, I see one. Okay, well, I'm going to do a tutorial, if you will, of how to make these. High Pick and Craft. Different sizes. Get my camera in the right spot. So I'm just waiting to see if anybody else comes on. This one's like a document envelope. Oh, that's cool. Well, I hope I am a good enough teacher that you learn how to do them. This is just my version. I'm sure I didn't come up with it, so. What size do I want to do first? I lost my paper. Okay, we'll start with the small one. So we'll start with a 6x6 piece of paper. And the first thing, after you cut it, we're going to do is score it. You also, let me tell you what your supplies you need. You also need some punched out circles. And I punched some out of like an empty cereal box or whatever you have, so that they're stronger. You need the 1 inch for the bigger, and I have a 1/2 inch for the smaller envelopes. Not good in that one. I forgot to punch this size. And you need 2 of them for each envelope. And then I cut a piece of paper that I want to cover them with, so that you end up with a prettier circle, or, well, find a pretty circle. There you go. See, they got patterns on it, so you can match it to your paper or however you want to do it. And then you also will need a piece of cardstock or paper. Lightweight paper would probably be better, to line the inside of the envelope after we get done, so that the inside looks finished. Yeah, I like using 6x6 pads. I actually cut a 12x12 piece of paper down, so hoping that you'd be able to see it better. And you need, whoops, score tool, glue, and 2 brads. The smaller ones work better than the long ones on the small envelopes. So the first thing you're going to do is score on one side of the paper at 5.5 inches. On the other side of the paper, you're going to score at 1.5 inches. So you end up with 2 score lines here and here. Rotate the paper so that those lines are now horizontal. and you're going to score at 1 3/4, and then at 4 1/4. So you get a square in there, if you can see that. And then I fold my at my score lines so that everything's nice and creased. And then you also need a pair of scissors. Sorry, I forgot. You're going to cut at a slight angle this bottom piece away and miter the edge so that the bottom edge, can't see, now looks like that. And you're going to do that on both sides, leaving just the bottom 1/4 of an inch, or 1/2 inch rather, there, so it's a lip. And then you're going to turn and take out the 2 corners here. On those, I go straight down though, on the front, or the top score, I can't talk. And then from the sides, I angle slightly, so you have a little bit of an indentation when you go to put coins in and out, or whatever you want to keep in them. I use them in my junk journals to send Happy Mail, whatever, so that you end up look at something that looks like this. Then, if you have a corner rounder, you can corner round the edges of the top. Sorry, I hope that wasn't too loud. So that you have a finished edge. Then you're going to fold it like you're putting it together. So, fold the inside to inside and top down. Then take a ruler or a straight edge, whatever, and find as close to the middle as you can. I don't usually measure. I just want a straight line. And about halfway on the top flap, and about 2 inches, or 1.5 inches from that rather, you put 2 dots. So now you have that. And then you go on to the next step, and I'm going to move the scoreboard for a moment so we can see easier. You're going to take your little 1/2 inch circles and find the paper that you want to use and punch out 2 of those. Ouch. I punched those other ones. Oh, there we go. And you're going to glue the top, one of the circles with your pattern out to the little cardboard disc that you cut out of the cereal box or whatever you wanted to use. I just happen to have a granola bar box because it's sturdy paper and it will handle the moving of the string. Okay, and while those start to dry, set them aside and take a hole punch, or not hole punch, a awl or a needle, and you're just going to poke a hole in where you made those 2 dots. And don't make it too big because you want your brad that you're going to put in it to hold. If you don't mind the inside of the brad showing, then you don't have to do this next part. But I cover it, long piece of paper, with a piece of paper on the inside to cover the brad holes. So that's what I'm going to do here, is get an estimate of what I need to cut, where I need to cut to have this will be the right size for the inside. and have it ready. So these should be dry enough by this point to go ahead and take your awl. And I use something like a piece of cork board or something to hold in the middle so I can punch a hole into it. And again, it doesn't have to be really big. I do both of them. And then I have my brads over here. And see, they're just, I'm going to use a pair of, so you can see how teeny tiny that is. Maybe if I can find the camera. So it's a little tiny one. And you're going to start with the side flap. Put your brad through the hole that you just made. And then through the hole, I'm off the screen, aren't I? There we go. And through the hole of the paper. And then just set your brad in place. And I try to make sure that the little prongs that come out go up and down and not sideways. So then I can glue this side to this one. And I just use tacky glue. You can use whatever you have. You can actually use score tape or a double-sided tape if you want. I just want to make sure I get enough glue around that brad to hold it. And I take a bone folder or a score tool, whatever. Make sure I've got that glue in there good. So see? Step one. Then I take my paper and, oh, not yet. Sorry. Got ahead of myself. Where'd my other? Okay. Then you have a piece of embroidery floss. That's completely, not separated. And I put it on a needle and put it through the upper hole, the top on the flap. I just use the needle because it's easier. So you just want a little piece sticking out like that. Can you see that? If I'm going too fast, somebody tell me, or if I'm not making sense, tell me, okay? Then I take my other circle that I made, and I do the same thing with the brad. So it's through there. And then from the front side, I put that through the hole where the string is, leaving this on the back side. And I set my brad. This one I want the prongs to go sideways on the short end of the envelope. And then press those down. And then you have a little string right here left. And I just take that string and wrap it underneath that brad to secure it. So it kind of looks like that, if you can see that. And then I take my paper that I want to line my envelope with, and I didn't cut this one big enough. Bad measuring. I line my envelope with this. That's what I get for not measuring, right? And line it, and then I glue it down so that it just looks finished this way, because I don't like the look of the brad and the leftover pieces of paper on the inside. I like it more finished. And I bring it up just a little past the top of the envelope so that I can round those corners as well. Again, you burnish it down. Make sure it's all connected. And then you have to kind of go back and re-score it, but I don't take it to an actual score machine or scoreboard. I just kind of go with the natural. So you end up, oh, gotta glue the bottom, Kathy. Put glue on the bottom and then just fold it up. And then corner around your edges again. And trim off any excess white there. Like, see how that's got a little bit of extra, I don't know if you can see that or not, of the extra inside of the paper sticking out. And then you just take your string, and once you get it wrapped as many times as you want, the string's wanting to separate. And then you cut your string to your length, and you have a coin envelope. Is that easy enough to follow? And then I have this one. I'll do one more here. It starts with an 8x8 piece of paper. So you need an 8x8 piece of paper. You need a piece that is 3.5 by 6. This one I measured to fill in the inside. And your scoreboard. And this one you are going to score at half inch from the end, so it's 7.5. And I just messed up. Sorry, this is not 8x8. It's 8 by 8.5. So you want to score it at half inch from the bottom. So you're going to score it at 8 inches, and then at 2 inches on the opposite side to make your top flap. Then on the short side, that is 8 inches wide, you're going to score it at, oh good night, I didn't write that down. Okay, at 6 inches and 2 inches, 2.5 inches, sorry, 2.5. I'm feeling prepared now. And fold it so that you just have to have enough flap inside there to be able to keep your brad hidden so the paper doesn't get stuck on it. Fold it and then cut out the 4 corners that are excess. Is it me or is it warm in here, Dan?
Not bad.
It's like 70 degrees here today and I'm burning up. This one, the top one, I want to go kind of straight so that I can corner around the edges. And you can make the top flap shorter. I just find it easier to put the button in, or the brad in, and feel like it's not going to pull through. So there we have a very crooked piece because I mitered one and not the other. Good night, Kathy. If y'all probably laughing at me or thinking, wow, what an idiot. So we'll just miter both of them instead of corner round. So then you do the same thing. You fold it in on itself and make your dots so that we can punch the holes. And I need that. It flipped up on me. Okay. midways of the flap and about 1.5 to 2 inches from the top, from the first hole, so that it looks like that. And then I already have somewhere here 2 of my discs all ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and poke the holes. If I can pick up the right tool, poke the holes in that for the buttons, or not buttons, but discs. Then I'm going to poke the holes in the disc. What I do is poke the hole in the center, and then I actually use my crocodile to put a quarter, or put a actual hole in it on the small side, which is what? I can't read it without my glasses on it. Anyway, the smaller of the 2 holes. So you get it like that. And I'm going to use 2 larger brads on this one. And I need a piece of string. So, okay. I'll start with this one. I always start with the one that doesn't take the thread with it. I don't know, it gets my mind into the right place, I guess. And then take my needle and put the thread through the first hole on the top hole. I don't know why I call it the first hole. From the outside in. Brad through there. Turn it so that it opens from left to right on the short side and not the long side of the envelope. And again, you take your thread that's left in there behind the 2 prongs of the brad. Okay. Now, once we got that part done, because this one we're going to line more. And we're going to start up here. We're going to glue this down so that the inside of the paper matches the outside. And it doesn't take a lot of glue, just enough, you know, it's not going to come loose and pull out with you whatever you put in your envelope. But you want to make sure you get your flap covered. So I line up the top of it as best I can. Smooth this down on the inside. Flip it over. I use a bone, it's a score tool from my We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board. Make sure that it's flat. And then I'll just trim away the excess as soon as I find my scissors. And you can distress the edges of these. You can make the tops shorter. It's just I think it's just a process of knowing what to do and then how to do the measurements. I messed up several. I had to refold. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to fold this in and tape it. Not tape it, glue it. Again, just enough glue to, if you go over too far, it will seal your envelope shut, and then you won't be able to use it. Ask me how I know. And then do the bottom. And then you can fold the top down and fix any little imperfections that you got there. Fold it over at your score line. Burnish it down. And then do your little figure 8. 2. My scissors are dull. And that's how you do it. So I thank you for watching, and I hope I helped you figure out how to make these coin and envelopes. And the you can, like I said, you can make the bigger ones, which are like 8.5 by 8.5 by 6. I think this one is 5.5 by 8.5. So these would be good in a junk journal as well. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and have a great night. I'll talk to you later. Bye.